Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Hafiz bin Jumat. My Matrik number is 1201472. In this video, I would like to present about conflict of jurisdiction between civil and Shariah court from the infamous The Border case. That is, Berjaya Buk Sendian Berhad versus Jabatan Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan. In 2014, officers of Jawi, accompanied by the media, raided the Borders bookstore at the Gardens Mid-Valley City in Kuala Lumpur. During the raid, the Jawi officers seized several books by international author Irsyad Manji titled Allah, Kebebasan dan Cinta, a Malay translation of Allah, Liberty and Love, which was also seized on grounds that the books were prohibited. At the material time, the publications were not subject to any prohibition order by the Ministry of Home Affairs. The Jawi officers proceeded to examine the Muslim and non-Muslim employees of Borders and issued orders compelling them to be subject to investigation and examination. Both the High Court and the Court of Appeal held that the act of enforcement by Jawi was unlawful and illegal, primarily on the grounds that the books were in fact not subject to any prohibition order at the material time. The Court of Appeal viewed that any law, be it federal or state, that breached the federal constitution must be struck down, and any federal or state government and its agencies that apply the law wrongfully must be corrected. So, from this matter, let's raise a question. Why does this case were brought into the High Court and the Court of Appeal, although it is in regards of the Islamic matters which should be fall under the Shariah court? First, let's look at the objective of this video. The objective of this video is to identify or indicate the jurisdiction of the federal law and the state law jurisdiction. Second, to identify the federal constitution as the supreme law in Malaysia. So the question, first let's look at what is Jawi. Jawi is Jabatan Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan, which means that Jawi is actually state legislative body. However, Ministry of Home Affairs is a federal legislative body. Okay, before we jump in further, let's recap back, or let's look at the case that were stated before. So in this case, actually, if we were to understand, before any books, if they want to publish, they need to go to Ministry of Home Affairs. They need to get the approval from Ministry of Home Affairs. If the Ministry of Home Affairs give their approval, meaning that they can publish their books and they can sell their books. However, in this case, Ministry of Home Affairs does give their permission because the books Allah, Kebebasan dan Cinta actually already went to sale. However, the Jawi officers decide to arrest anyone who sells the book. So from this case, if we look at the court ruling, we can actually understand that federal law or government agencies is actually higher than state agencies. This matter stated in the Federal Constitution, Article 75 and 81. Plus, in the Federal Constitution, it already stated the federal and state list in the 9th schedule. So what is 9th schedule, or what is federal and state list? It is actually What is it is actually what does the matter that federal and state actually govern. And from this case, if we look at it, we can actually understand that from the court ruling it stated, we can understand from the court ruling, we can see that if any bodies does not react in accordance with the federal constitution, it shall be null and void. This matter already stated in the Article 4 of the federal constitution. To conclude, from this case, we can actually learn that federal laws actually stands above the state laws. However, both bodies, either the federal or state, have their own jurisdiction that they were given power to govern them. And from this case, we can actually learn that if any law or bodies act inconsistent with the federal constitution, it shall be null and void, because the federal constitution is our supreme law in Malaysia. Okay, that is all from me. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.